This is how the roadmap of September through to the first Sunday of October looks. We've got the Panthers, Eels to come, Storm Raiders, Roosters, Rabbitohs, the Sharks and the Cowboys. 2 of those 8 teams will not be with us in season 2022 in a week's time. 4 massive weeks of footy right here on Nine's WWOS Sports as we have a look at those official fixtures for week 1 of the finals, the Battle of the West on Friday night, Panther Stadium. It will be sold out as the 2 old foes go head-to-head, Penrith and Parramatta. The double-header on Saturday from 5 o'clock, Melbourne playing host to Canberra. The loser of that match bows out. The second qualifying final after that from Shark Park, which will also be packed to the rafters, Cronulla and North Queensland, who get a second chance, the loser. And then it's the other eliminator on Sunday from 3, Allianz Stadium. What a brilliant ground it is, and it's that match-up again. Just, 9 days after they last went head-to-head, the Roosters and the Rabbits at it again to keep their seasons alive. Any bold predictions? When you see what we've got to work with now, Gal, what could unfold over the next few weeks?
Yeah, my bold prediction this week is going to be, I think that the Parramatta Eels can beat the Panthers. And if that's not writing the Panthers off, I think they can still come back and win the competition from there. But I just think Parramatta will be very, very confident in the fact they've beaten them twice this year. Cleary and Luai haven't played together for 6 weeks. I don't think it's a bad thing they rested their players last week. I think that's something positive. But I think the fact that the 2 halves haven't been in the side for a number of weeks and Parramatta are doing something right this year. Years gone by, they're flying mid-season. Back in the year, they always fall over. I think they're a little bit inconsistent throughout the year, but they're coming good the back end of the year at the right time, so I think they can get the win this week.
Gus, is it just a matter of who will be meeting Penrith in that grand final?
Yeah, I believe so. I think, there's been a big gap in the competition between the top 8 and the bottom 8. That's why I've been really looking forward to this final series, that we get the best 8 teams. They've all deserved to be there. They are the best 8 teams in the competition. And then in that group, Panthers have been a standout. But there are a couple of sides there that if they can get through on the day and get through healthy, can certainly cause them some troubles. It's not over the line, but I do think they're the best side.
Gus, I wanted to ask you, the absence of Cleary for so long and the fact that he's coming back into a final, I mean, you know how he operates, you've seen it up close. Will there be any danger of rust at all in his game?
None whatsoever. He will have been training with the side anyway the whole time. They weren't worrying about the games they were playing each weekend. They were worried about the first round of that's where they've set themselves, the first round of the semi-finals. He's been training with the team. And when you say they haven't played together for 6 weeks, well, they've been playing together for 10 years. And they've been trawled through the juniors together. They know their game pretty well. Panthers' game, when it's on, is just a little bit too good with the talent that they've got across the park in this competition.
You can't replicate what happens in a game. I know they train, they do a whole lot of scrimmage together and they train together, but you just can't replicate the intensity of a game, particularly a finals match. And I just think, look, they're not going to be really rusty. I'm not saying the team's going to be rusty. I just think the fact they haven't played with the team for 6 weeks, there may just be a little bit of rust there. Throw on top of that how confident Parramatta will be that they beat them. I think it's a good opportunity for the Eels.
So, Gal, do you believe that Penrith will win the premiership?
I think they can be in the grand final. I think they're still the best team. They did it last year. They lost round 1 last year, come back and won the comp. So I still think they're the favourites to win the premiership. But I just think this week is a huge opportunity for the Eels where they can become just 1 win from a grand final by getting the win against Penrith.
You couldn't ask for a better way to kick off the finals, though, could you?
It's brilliant. We've got 2 really big local derbies. I mean, the Roosters versus the Rabbitohs and Panthers versus Parramatta. I mean, that's incredible that it's fallen this way for the first week of the finals. We'll talk a little bit later about home ground finals and ticker-techs and all sorts of things and whether members can get into the ground and whether or not we should be in big stadiums. And I've got a real strong opinion about all of that. But I just can't see the Panthers, particularly over the last couple of years, because of COVID. They didn't get to play finals in Sydney and all of that, so I think they'll be really looking to nail this weekend. They'll be ready.
Gal, what is it about Parramatta and the way they play that they give Penrith such a hard time? Can you pinpoint it?
No, well, I think the last time they played them, obviously having Cleary sent from the field was a huge plus for them, but I thought they were dominating that game anyway. I think they take it to their big middles, that's for sure. Regan Campbell-Gillard and Junior Paulo have been awesome this year. In the last couple of weeks, they've been fantastic, and I remember they played against the Panthers, and they're pretty dominant early. You throw on top of that, Cleary getting sent off was, obviously the game was pretty much gone from then on. But I just feel Parramatta have been building for a couple of years to get to this stage. They've been, in years gone by, they've been probably too good at the start of the season and mid-season. I reckon they're maybe too fit. But this year they may have done something different when they're training. They may have learnt from the years gone by, and they're peaking at the right time, which I like.
Yeah, I think in those victories over Panthers, and even in a lot of the big wins they've had during the year, Parramatta have the ability to come out and dominate possession in the first 20 minutes and turn that into points and get on the front foot. They're not so good if the opposition is dominating possession. And I just think that the Panthers will be well aware of that this time around. Don't get me wrong, Parramatta, they've got a chance of beating them, but I just think the Panthers will be far more prepared for what are the strengths of Parramatta and what are the weaknesses in their game. And they've just got to play away from that possession disadvantage they get up early in the game.
Denny, if Parramatta come into this match, lose, and then bow out in week 2 of the finals, straight sets, what would that mean for Brad Arthur as the coach?
Look, that's what everybody wants to know. I mean, Brad Arthur has done a terrific job to get them to this position, but everybody's saying that they have to become a premiership winner. So I still think, I know he's finished top 4, and I know he's a good coach, but I still think there'll be some pressure on him. I mean, Parramatta...
Wait a minute. What is it talking about him losing the first 2 already? Where does that come from?
I asked the question.
Where does that come from? Who asked that question?
That came from James.
I asked the question.
Where did you learn that in journalism? They've just stormed into the top 4, and the first thing you want to say is, now, when they lose the first 2, should they sack the coach?
There's been a lot of
the premiership favourites, and all of a sudden the coach is gone.
You've got them beaten and the coach's been sacked.
Well, I haven't got the coach sacked. I simply asked Eddie after all the talk about...
Sounded like that's what you were saying to me.
James, you're right, but because there was not that long ago, he was being offered to clubs.
There we go.
What if he wins the first 2 and he's in the grand final?
Well, he's set then,
what happens then?
I think he has to make the grand final to be good.
Wait, so if he doesn't make the grand final, his position's in jeopardy.
I think that this is Parramatta's chance, and Parramatta management have got very high expectations. I think that Brad Arthur knows. That's why there was a bit of talk not long ago that he was being offered to other clubs. That doesn't happen if somebody is rock solid secure.
Scuttlebutt.
The only thing with that, I suppose, he has been there for 10 years. He has been there for a long time, Gus.
Scuttlebutt at its best.
Okay.
Scuttlebutt. It's brilliant. I could see Brad Arthur at the Dogs.
He's just got a new coach.
I tell you what, you wouldn't want to be the loser from this match either, Gal. The loser, obviously, the winner goes through to the prelim. Loser takes on the winner of Storm Raiders. So you get a Melbourne team that will compete anyone. We know that. And the Raiders team, if they've just beaten Melbourne...
Oh, look, I think when you look at that, I mean, both sides of the draw are hard. I mean, the loser, the Cronulla game, going to have to play either the Roosters or South Sydney. So both sides of the draw are really, really hard. But I just think every team's going to go out there to win the game week in, week out. And I think... I just think it's a good opportunity for the Eels this week to get a win and just become one win away from a grand final, which sounds like it's going to save the coach's job.
It's incredible how it's fallen. Like, we've got the 2 great local derbies, and then you've got the great rivals Melbourne and Storm with Ricky Stewart and Craig Bellamy, and Raiders have really tickled them up a couple of times over the years in big games. And then you've got the 2 new boys on the block who just get to play each other. They haven't got to play any of their hardened-seasoned ones. They're both sort of in rarefied air at the moment. If I was predicting something outlandish this week, I think the Cowboys can go to Shark Park and win against the Sharks.
More on that a little later.